You know what Cam's words are that he can't say? You can't say hate. You can't say shut up. You can't say good luck, suckers. The best is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Ice Cube is the bad guy. Is like he is the voice of the bad guy, and his character's name's Superfly. And,
Superfly.
And Cam goes.
Superfly was a pimp.
Cam goes. You know what Superfly says, Daddy? I go, what? He goes, what the hell? And he said it like Ice Cube. What the hell?
Did you know Superfly was a pimp back in the? That was a movie back in my black exploitation movies. You don't know about that, Dan.
Dolomite.
Dude.
Rudy Ray Moore.
He was, well, that's even before that.
That's the best blaxploitation movie is Dolomite.
There was a bunch of them. Shaft, all that stuff was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We should just start the show with this. Welcome to the Times Lakers show. It's Dan Woike, the Lakers beat writer. Brad Turner, the Lakers beat writer too, basically.
Basically.
Yeah, and we are here on YouTube. We are now on Spotify. You can find us in audio form if our handsomeness is too much to handle, which probably is. You can be forgiven for that. Happy Thanksgiving, BT. My father today on the phone said, wish BT a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, your dad is the greatest man around. Even more so because he has to put it with you.
He was watching the Lakers in-season tournament game last night, the ISTG. And was remarking on he wanted to know why Austin Reeves was in the game late and why D'Angelo Russell was playing. And I said, the Lakers didn't have enough players. They were out of players last night. But let's start. I want to start with the in-season tournament, BT, because we are done with pool play. Mm-hmm. The Lakers 4-0. They have run roughshod through their group. What was the point differential? I think plus 74.
Yes.
Which is the primary tiebreaker. Before we get to your big takeaway, I will give you my big takeaway.
Okay.
I have never seen a group of wealthy people so lustful for $500,000 than this Lakers team. Their naked ambition for this money, Broderick, it's actually quite refreshing.
You know what it proves to me, Dan?
We're all humans. We all want the same stuff.
And you can never have enough money.
What would you buy if you let's put you are a NBA millionaire and $500,000 falls into your lap.
Oh, come on.
And let's you're not going to feed the children with it. We all know we want world peace. We all want to feed the children.
I mean,
let's be selfish. What are you doing?
It's easy for me.
You're just going to Paris for 6 months?
I'm going to buy an apartment in Paris, France.
You can buy an apartment there for $500,000?
Well, down payment.
I would put it into a college fund for my kids.
But Dan, I don't have kids.
No, I would not, actually. I would probably develop a drug habit or something. And just have the greatest weekend in Vegas of all time. My idea was that I think the best possible thing that can happen. So here, let's set the stage for everybody because the format can still be a little confusing.
Yes.
The Lakers have now advanced to the next stage of this in-season tournament where it actually starts to look like a tournament.
Right.
Where they will be playing in a quarterfinal game. The first, it will be played in LA. They've clinched a home court for that. And if they win, they advance to the semifinals, which will be played in Las Vegas.
Ooh.
If they lose, they are out of the tournament. They will have some other sort of janky regular NBA season game scheduled for them in some town to be determined. And then if you win in Vegas, the first in the semis, you play in the finals. The game does not count statistically. It does not count in the standings. You can score 140 points. Will keeps his record. But if you win, you get $500,000 cash. No, I don't think it's cash. It should be cash.
Maybe they give it to me in a briefcase.
It should be cash. It's Las Vegas.
In a briefcase. There should like 15 briefcases.
Do you want to hear I was going to call one of our friends at the NBA today and pitch this idea, but I will pitch it to you first. Do you want the best 5 minutes in television history? I can give it to you. After the finals in Las Vegas, okay?
I want to hear this.
You get guys in tuxedos, some people in showgirl attire. They wheel a giant roulette wheel to the middle of the court, and each player is given the option to take their $500,000 cash or bet it on one spin. Would that not be the most riveting television of all time?
Let me tell you something.
The only thing better than watching someone win $500,000, by the way, would be watching someone lose it.
No, listening to these dudes They ain't playing that
You don't
roulette
think
wheel.
there's one player on the
It
team
might be
that would take
one
that
would
500
do
grand
it.
and throw it on
Let
red?
me tell you
These are
something.
the most competitive people in the world.
These dudes would be like, risk losing all my money that I just worked hard to get? And the phone blows
Thankfully,
up.
they'd be the first NBA players to ever gamble a lot of money. They'd be the first ones ever to do it.
Showgirls, I'm with that.
Yeah, so I would consider you to be a traditionalist when it comes to the NBA. We have gotten in arguments about PER before. Big argument in PER in Houston once. Right? I think I was about Brook Lopez and his advanced statistics. This is kind of a radical idea for the league. You've seen 4 games.
It has been, yeah.
You've been at 3 of them. What did you think?
I've enjoyed it.
Really? Were you surprised that you liked it?
I didn't have any expectations for it.
Okay.
I wanted to see how it worked. What I did was I called my friends in Europe to ask them, okay, how does this work with soccer? And they explained it to me, and I still don't understand it.
Yes.
But the idea of giving fans, players, something to get excited about during the regular season in November into December, I've been pleasantly surprised that the games have been competitive. Last night it was not. I mean, the Lakers have kind of run through this, but there have been some really competitive games. And you know that it's an in-season tournament game based on the court.
And the uniforms.
And the uniforms.
So I think, having experienced it, there's 2 things. I agree with everything you said. The more I think about it, I don't sort of like the NBA admitting that the rest of it doesn't matter in November. And I think also holistically, I would like these players to just care about the regular season without $500,000 at stake.
But
They do.
They
care. And they care, but they don't care as much. And they've admitted it. They've said this. Right? They try a little bit harder and stuff like that. And by the way, that's cool and it works. And NBA players, I think, are experts largely at managing, it's like a gas tank. You don't want to be all the way down because you're gonna get lousy mileage and stuff like that. You got to go at a nice, smooth pace.
So is that like saying they don't care about the first quarter, the second
I
quarter,
would,
the
sort
third
of,
quarter,
yes, sort
but
of.
the last 2/46 of the fourth quarter?
Sort of. And this is an issue. This is
Okay.
still I think this is a little bit of a Band-Aid to the bigger issue. We talked about this last week with Jeannie Buss. Go back, watch it on YouTube, hit us on Spotify. But it's how do you get people to care about regular season games that don't have these added stakes? I will tell you, when I've watched games around the league this year, I think guys care. It feels like the competition is higher. Because of the parity. Because of the parity.
It's hard to care that much about basketball.
Sure.
If you're an NBA fan in November.
We covered a Lakers team last year that was a whisker away from being out of the play-in tournament and a whisker away from not even being in the playoffs. A win here, a win there, a lot changes for them. Yes. Every game mattered. In an 82-game season, every game ended up mattering. Where is that energy? And I think we're getting a little bit of that in the NBA. Look, there is sort of the assumption, you hear somebody like Ty Lue say this, we've heard Darvin Ham say this, so you got to figure this out. These things are processes. You have to be patient, and they're right. It doesn't matter how well you're playing in November. It matters how well you're playing in March and April and May. But you do have to be in position.
Yes.
And I think so I don't love that the tournament undercuts a little bit of that. That it sort of admits that this normal product that we're delivering to you isn't quite good enough.
It's not so much the product, it's the people that are producing the product.
Everybody involved.
Are the ones who... Do you write your best stuff in November?
I write my best stuff every day, BT.
I've read you, Dan.
Subscribe to the LA Times, by the way.
Just so you know. I read you every single day.
Yes.
And I will tell you that some of your best work has been in the NBA playoffs.
I think this, like everything, when the stakes are higher,
right?
You rise to the occasion. I know that's how I was. That's how I was reared.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So hey, we've got some more Laker talk here. We'll be right back, BT, for a holiday week edition, a Thanksgiving holiday week edition.
Thanksgiving. Where's the turkey?
Of the Times Laker Show.
Are you cooking for your family for Thanksgiving?
We can discuss that in the next segment.
Ooh, I feel bad for
you. We'll be right
you
back. Welcome back to the Times Lakers Show. Dan Woike, the LA Times beat writer for the Lakers. Brad Turner, cover the NBA, cover the Lakers. You've covered the Clippers. You've covered Paris, France. You're going to be covering Miami this week, I believe?
I still cover Paris, France.
You're going to be covering Miami this week
I
for
am.
the
I'm
holidays?
going to visit family while you're going to take over the beat solo all by yourself.
I will be going to the Miami of Northeastern Ohio, Cleveland.
Yes, you will. And you'll do a great job, Dan.
The Art Deco scene
You
there
do a
is
great job, sir.
magnifique. I want to talk to you a little bit about the league right now.
Okay.
And like where the Lakers are. I think I feel better about them in some ways in the last weekish. Winning helps. I think they benefited from a little bit of a soft schedule, if we're going to be honest. I think that's helped them. Is this team trending positively for you?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Because despite the injuries, to LeBron missed one game, AD missed one game, he's still kind of floating
Both
through.
of them are still dealing with
He's
things.
still dealing with that. And to be above 500, to be 4-0 in group play for the in-season tournament, and the idea that you start to see Rui Hachimura kind of get his legs back.
Yep.
And your guy, my guy, our guy, Austin Reeves, starting to do some really good things.
Getting a little comfortable.
You know, the young kid, Cam Reddish, unfortunately has the groin issue to deal with, but he's starting to get more confident in his play. And I think Darvin's done a good job just trying to weave it all together. And they know they have a good team.
They do know they have a good team, and I think they know they have a really talented team.
Yes.
I think they're still trying to figure out everything. It is sort of, I had an interesting conversation yesterday with NBA Hall of Famer Mark Stein, who was at
Mark
the game.
Stein,
Former California resident, Cal State Fullerton grad, I believe.
Yes.
And one of the things that I was talking about with him was sort of, you know, when you're the Lakers, and you're built the way they're built, it's hard to so they talk continuity, right? Like that's been a big thing, right? But I think we also all know the pathway to this team improving is via trade.
Yes.
They will, it's already started, right? Like we heard Zach LaVine's name, you know, that he's a guy that wants to be traded. Chicago wants to trade him. I mean, I don't think that's breaking news that Chicago would trade Zach LaVine. But, you know, the Lakers might be interested in that. I mean, I don't know what your reporting is on this. I think it's something they'd consider. It all depends on cost and fit. I think there are real red flags in terms of his knee history.
Using the word consider is
You don't think they'd consider it?
for a fleeting moment.
I think
I don't see him as being
The third guy?
the best fit for that team.
okay. So
I just don't think.
I think
that
if he
would
was
be,
healthy, I would. If I believed in his health, and I believed in his knee,
then that's the reason why you don't do the deal, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in his health when you already have two of your stars that
little
have
rickety.
dealt with health.
little rickety.
All year long.
So I think it'd be interesting because one, it'd be a little bit of a course reversal in terms of like the way they've built their team
Right.
financially, where you'd have basically now you'd be a 3-star team again, which limits you in other ways. It limits you moving forwards in the deals you can make and stuff like that. I think, and a lot of people who were in Tokyo for the Olympics and saw Zach LaVine on Team USA and saw him function around better players,
Right.
were impressed with how he played as a complementary player. And like that does lead me to believe that there's a possibility he could do that. He's a great shooter. He's not shot it well this year, but he is a great high volume 3-point shooter.
High volume.
Like
Playing
he
with-
shoot like 8 times a game.
Playing with LeBron James and Anthony
The volume
Davis.
goes down. The volume goes down. The rhythm has to adjust and all of that stuff. All that being said, I mean, look, I don't think they're going to trade for Zach LaVine. I think it's, like I said, I think they would consider it. I think they should consider everything. When you hear teams say that they've had discussions, they talk about everybody. I'm sure they've already talked
They
about
always do.
Yes.
The example I always use about trades is when Mitch Kupchak was the GM of the Lakers, he would get phone calls about Kobe Bryant.
it. Sure.
And I would look at him going, that's impossible. He goes, no. Teams call
It'd be
and
negligent
ask
not
me
to.
if I'd be willing to trade Kobe Bryant, to which, what would you say, Mitch? He goes, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And hang up the phone.
Yeah. Until the day.
So
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Everyone checks in.
Everyone, you should check
just
in.
to
You should
see.
check in, and you should hear. You know, you never know what they're going to offer, and you should listen always. I think.
Right.
That being said, like there is sort of this vibe, I think, at times too, where it's like they know they're not a finished product now. because of injuries, because they haven't had Jared Vanderbilt, because they haven't had Gabe Vincent, because they know there's probably another move down the road too. So I think what's important right now is they're stacking wins.
Yes.
And they're doing it in a way to put themselves in a good position so then when they do start to finalize at some point, whatever that move may be, minor or major, I mean, one piece of intel we can share that is not stunning is that I think if they were going to make a trade with the Chicago Bulls, they, like almost every team in the league, values Alex Caruso.
Yes.
I think is a guy who they would look at as someone who can make a real difference should they meet Denver in a pivotal series. Like Alex Caruso is a guy that maybe advances their chances against the Nuggets more so than.
And don't forget his salary also.
It's nice to pay someone $30 million less dollars. That helps too. And that vibe at BT I think has changed in the NBA because there's like free agency isn't the spicy like swinging forum club that it used to be. Everybody getting swapped around and doing all sorts of stuff. I think like now it's for a lot of teams it's trades. All the good players sign extensions. Everybody like the way the CBA works. Like if you're a good young player, you almost certainly sign an extension with the team that you're with. So if you're gonna make tweaks around the margins,
which is what Zach LaVine did, last year, 2 years ago,
got that bag.
Almost over $200 million.
Yeah, and then immediately
that's a red flag for me.
And immediately became a bad contract. But that's just sort of how it works. Why would you go to free agency? There's no reason to do it anymore. Like no one. So it is an interesting. These are the things that I'm interested in when I talk to people around the league. Is like the kind of geekery of team building. I view it as sort of like a puzzle, and like the way like where you get the pieces is changing. And so it is a little bit harder for me when the Lakers talk about continuity.
Look at you, Dan. Someone I know very, very well, who I think perhaps is the best GM in any sport of all time.
Yeah.
Says it's about putting the puzzle together.
Yeah.
And that person is the great Jerry West.
Wow.
I'm not comparing you two. Let's get that straight.
We gotta make sure Jerry.
You just used the word. That's all you did.
I know one person who would be upset about those 10 seconds. That person's name rhymes with Schmerry Schmest.
Yeah.
He would be.
I'm just saying. So look at you.
We know that. We know that Jerry
Good.
famously handles those things well. He would be like. He probably just.
I'm just saying.
Slammed his computer down. No, but I think that's what it is. Is it like it is? You have different. You can put resources into one pile. You don't have unlimited resources. You've got to try to figure out, we're going to put, if we've got $80 million, $90 million invested in these two players, how do we fill in around them and different things like that? And I think Rob Pelinka has done a pretty good job of that.
I was just going to say that.
I will say, though, that we are now, 15 games in? Is that what we're saying? 9-6, I think?
Yes.
There are some red flags. I think there's a couple red flags. We should get to those. We're going to talk red flags. And BT, I have a very, very important question for you in the third segment. Huge non-NBA news today that has rocked me to my core. We'll see if it rocks it to yours. We'll be back with more Times Lakers Show here on YouTube, Spotify, LATimes.com, everywhere on the internets. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Times Lakers Show. Dan Woike, Brad Turner, here from our palatial LA Times studios in beautiful El Segundo, California, where a famous rapper once left their wallet, BT. I said before the break, there's a couple red flags.
Yes.
Is this team going to make shots, open shots enough? Do you believe that?
Some days they will, and a lot of days they won't.
Yeah.
I mean, against the Jazz, they shot almost 38%.
40%, I think they got to eventually.
They got to 40%. It ended up being 37 point.
Everything in the first half.
They did. And like their best shooting has been right at 40%. But most of the time, they're shooting like, 22, 23%.
You can't win.
No, you can't.
You can't win. And I think, like, to me, the guy that they need to get into rhythm is Taurean Prince. If he is going to be important on this team, his role, first and foremost, even beyond, and look, admirable what he's tried to do on defense. I think he's played hard. I think he's played smart. He's trying his best. No problems on that front. The rim has to look like a thimble to him right now. Cannot make open shots.
No.
And
No, you can't.
and I have questions about their. I mean, look, LeBron is shooting it great right now, but like LeBron James has not traditionally been a great 3-point shooter. That's come and gone over the course of the season. D'Angelo Russell's been up and down on that. I think Austin Reeves at times has been up and down on that. It's like, do they consistently have enough shooting? That's going to be the big question for me.
Dan,
because we talk about trades.
To quote the great Kobe Bryant,
It's a make or miss league.
you can't make it if you don't shoot them.
I like that take.
So if KB says you got to shoot them to make them, you got to keep shooting them bad boys.
They will keep. They have to
yes,
this
they
point. To
will.
the Lakers' credit, to Torian Prince's credit, he is still shooting.
He is. But the thing about Torian is the very first game at Denver, he shot the 3-point ball so well.
Yep.
And we all thought, wow, this is great for the Lakers.
Shot it well in the preseason,
and
too.
great for Torian Prince. Since that time, it ain't been too good for him.
I think he's sub. As of today, I think he's sub like 13% at home on threes, and like the looks are clean. Like he gets clean looks, and that's to me is one of the potential as we talk about what kind of deals and stuff like this the team could maybe make down the road. I mean, look, here's the thing though. I'll talk directly to the camera. Here's the thing, people. Everybody wants shooting. Everybody wants wing size.
Yes.
It is on the wish list of everyone. It is the PlayStation 5. What's the hot toy? I don't even know what the hot toy is this year. Anybody know what kids want for Christmas?
I don't have many kids, Dan, so I don't know.
$500,000. It is the $500,000 cash of GM wish list. Is everybody wants size and shooting?
Yes.
And I think that is a question for me: is do the Lakers have enough defensive size and shooting? Cam Reddish, I don't totally buy as a shooter long term. Defensively though, has been terrific. And if they can keep him in that lane, that is a steal. For a guy who gets a lot of steals, it's pretty great. I have a couple questions for you, BT, here, rapid fire. Before you go to the airport to bravely fly the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, to visit my family.
In Miami. In my family in Miami. I don't believe you.
Welcome to Miami.
I don't believe you. We've got a road trip coming up. You're not going to be on it. 4 cities. Do you know them?
4 cities.
We're going to, I'll be in Cleveland.
Cleveland, yes.
I will be in Detroit.
Yes.
Oh, no. Cleveland, Philadelphia, Detroit, Oklahoma City.
They're the 4 cities you're going to.
Okay. 2 questions for you.
Yes.
1, what's the hardest game on that trip? 2, who's the most exciting player in the league on those teams?
I'm going to say the hardest, there are a couple of them that'll be hard. We did say Philadelphia, right? Mm-hmm. That won't be easy.
Oklahoma City is the second night of a back-to-back.
And, of course, Oklahoma City, because that's your team that you picked, and they are playing well.
Producer Mark's team as well.
Um,
Really Producer Mark's team.
I'm going to say OKC will be the toughest one. And the most exciting player out that group will be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's a good one.
I love watching him play. I had a chance to watch him as a rookie when he was with the Clippers. He has gone to new heights, new levels that is fun to see. And he's a fun young man to talk to as well.
I believe I misspoke. I think it was last week on the podcast when I did his name is Tyrese Maxey. I said that was the wrong. It was not.
That's a good one too.
I got
like
a different, the wrong musical artist from Murder, She Wrote. That is not.
I'm not surprised about that, Dan, but go ahead.
Is not. But I would go with Tyrese Maxey. That to me, that guy, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
I do love Shea though. You know this. Long-term listeners would know that I did predict a potential MVP run for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this year, which you called. You asked if we drug tested after I said that.
I'm still asking you if you drug tested.
Well, give me $500,000.
There's a guy that the Lakers are going to play with Dallas who is pretty good.
Who's that?
Luka Doncic.
Oh yeah.
And there's also an MVP candidate in Philadelphia you're going to see.
I mean, he won the MVP.
Okay, and there's also a guy in Denver that won the MVP, won the NBA championship last year that are, I think they're a little bit above
There's
Shai
also
at
Oklahoma
this
City
stage.
has the best Chet in the league currently too. They got a good Chet.
Is that because they have the only Chet?
I think he is currently the only Chet.
Okay.
Which injury return will matter most for the Lakers? Will it be Jared Vanderbilt? Will it be Gabe Vincent? Will it be a potentially returning Cam Reddish at some point now that he's got a groin injury?
I'm going to say Jared Vanderbilt.
I think that is the right answer to that question. I am curious to see what a Jared Vanderbilt return does to their lineups and the rotations. Does he start? Does Cam Reddish still start? Do they start them both? Is that a possibility? Does Torian Prince move to the
Those are
bench?
some great questions, and
know.
I'm sure our guy, Lakers coach Darvin will have the answers.
All right. Lakers are finally a top 10 defense. They are back in the top 10 statistically. They are statistically positive in net rating for the first time this year, debunking LeBron James's theories that they are the Pittsburgh Steelers. This has been a big LeBron James thing this year where they are outgained and outscored, but still somehow winning. Now the numbers are there. Do you buy them defensively?
Yes,
I think that's competition. So
and because they're also going to get back Jared Vanderbilt, their best wing defender.
Gabe Vincent is really going to matter too
Yes, he will.
on defense. Now, can we get to the most important thing that happened today?
Oh, boy.
You probably weren't on your phone today checking this out.
Oh, boy.
A really, really sad celebrity breakup has occurred. Daryl Hall has gotten a restraining order against John Oates from Hall & Oates BT. Two questions. One, what side are you on without knowing any information? And two, what is the best Hall & Oates song?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I saw them in concert in Japan.
Okay.
Years ago, shockingly, I saw them there.
Before the acrimony.
Yes. I can't think of my favorite song.
Did you smile like Sarah?
I'm not taking sides on this.
That's not an answer.
Well,
Give the people an answer. I don't have a favorite song and I'm not taking sides. Private Eyes? Man-Eater?
Ooh. Man-Eater, I like that one. Okay, I'll take Man-Eater.
Right.
But you know why I'm not
That's
going to take a
incorrect,
side?
by the way.
Because
Looking at my phone here, the best Hall & Oates song is Peg by Steely Dan. BT,
Yes, sir.
have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
What
Dan.
do you, because we're morally obliged to do this, what are your favorite Thanksgiving things? I know it's a little tacky, a little cliche to ask
I mean,
people
it's
this.
easy. A nice, big, juicy turkey.
You actually like turkey?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And sweet potato pie.
Never had it.
Gotta have that. You probably eat pumpkin pie, don't you?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I will tell you, stuffing should be a 10-month side, only not in the summer. It is one of the crazy things that I can't just
Only
get
not
stuffing.
in the summer.
That, like, I go and get food, and they're like, "Do you want a potato? Do you want vegetables?" I should be like, "No, give me some stuffing." I should be able to order stuffing all the time.
Dan, stuffing is made to be eaten twice a year.
Bread,
Thanksgiving
broth,
and Christmas.
vegetables.
That's it.
It is a hearty meal, like our forefathers enjoyed. I hope you're subscribing. If you're this far along, you probably already are. But click subscribe, hit us with a comment, shoot us an email, subscribe to the Lakers newsletter, subscribe to the LA Times so BT can keep taking these lavish trips. It's very important to him that he gets on the road and travels and sees his family in Miami.
There's my sister, my nephews, my cousins.
You have cousins in the Bahamas too that you gotta go swing
I
by.
don't
and
have
see.
any family there, but I'll work on it.
Yeah. Join us next week. I will be on the road. We will we'll link up and we'll see where the Lakers are at. We'll know who they are playing in the in-season tournament quarterfinals. We'll be able to discuss that.
To which leads us to going to where if they get to the semifinals.
Vegas, baby. Vegas. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.